you hear that music, you know it's time to go inside enemy territory. This is where we scout Syracuse's football and basketball opponents. Right now we're in football season, so obviously it's football. Today's broadcast brought to you by our friends at Play It Again Sports. We'll hear a little bit more about our friends at Play It Again in just a little bit. But inside enemy territory we go. Big game for the Syracuse Orange this weekend, and they are traveling definitely into enemy territory. They call it Death Valley down there. It is the Clemson Tigers taking on the Orange. And we bring in a guy who's one of our all-time favorites, one of the nicest guys in the world, and my favorite play-by-play guy out there. Let's welcome in the one, the only, the indomitable Don Munson. How are you, sir?
And you call me the enemy. Come on.
Well, yeah, just for a day, just for a couple hours. It's all right.
Although, Don, can you confirm that this is your favorite shade of orange?
Well, it's difficult for me to say. I mean, I got my favorite shade of orange on right there. So I don't know. I guess we'd have to get down to the what is it? The PMS? Is that what they call it?
Yeah, right. How different is it, really, if at all? I have no idea.
I don't know. I mean, I can tell you that I can go to Home Depot and there's a Clemson orange paint that I can buy there. So whatever that is. So.
Well, look, we haven't had too many conversations with you where the Clemson Tigers come into the game under 500, 1-2. It's been a little bit of a rough start, or has it? Because if you listen to the comments of Dabo Swinney and some of the folks down there in South Carolina, they're a couple of plays away from potentially being 3-0. So let's talk about that. Has it been a bad start, or has it been some bad luck?
Oh no, it's been a bad start. I mean, I think even Coach would tell you that. We're not. Clemson shouldn't be 1-2 right now, but they are, because that's exactly what they earned. They just have not played well, haven't been able to get people off the field defensively when they've needed to get them off the field. No, they got exactly what they deserved, and it hadn't been good.
So, Don, one of the big reasons I think a lot of people were optimistic about Clemson before the season is a lot of people thought on the outside that there was a Heisman quality quarterback on this roster in Cade Klubnik. And, just to call it straight here, if you were playing to that level, you guys would not be in with the record you are. So what are the problems? Is it all Cade? Is it the team around him? Is it a combination of both? What's happening here where Cade has not taken that step that a lot of people thought he was going to?
Well, certainly as a quarterback, he's going to take the hit. I mean, he's the target of everybody, because that's what the quarterback is on everybody's team. I mean, Angelini, same way there at Syracuse. He's the face of the program right now, the face of the team. So, but Cade will tell you that even he has not played up to snuff. He's had opportunities to make plays, has not been able to make them. The biggest thing is that he's turned the ball over in each of the first 3 games. Has been picked off once in each of the first 3 games, and also had the turnover on the fumble last week. So 2 in the Georgia Tech game that cost him points. So you take away those things away. Say Clemson just kicks a field goal when they were, basically inside the 7-yard line at Georgia Tech. They just kick a simple field goal, don't have the interception. And then actually the defense held and forced a 3-and-out and got the ball back. So they didn't give up any points after that interception. But those are the kind of plays that you've got to make, and you've got to realize where you are. It was only, I believe, the 3rd turnover ever inside the red zone for Cade Klubnik last week. So that's the good news. Is hasn't done it a ton, but he did it there. And right now, it's a "what have you done for me lately" society, and that's what stands out.
Listen, when you build a winning culture, Don, you're going to take some arrows. And Dabo Swinney has been taking some arrows, and he's been firing back. Paul, throw up the comments there on the screen. But Dabo, went at the media, or went out to his detractors here a little bit, talked a little bit about he's not going anywhere. He doesn't want to go anywhere. He wants to keep coaching football. So talk to me about the fire that he has inside him, and how's he been in recent weeks?
Oh, he's easily one of the most competitive people that I've ever been around. I mean, he loves the competition. As he says, the fun is in the winning. There ain't no fun in not winning, but the fun is in the winning. So, believe me, he's fiery, and he's very protective of what he has built here at Clemson. Sometimes I think that he doesn't feel like that people, not just here locally, but all around the country, really appreciate what Clemson has done during his tenure. And it really started back when he took over midway through through 2008. He became the first coach since 1970 to take over midway through a program on an interim basis and lead the program to a winning record. So it hadn't been, not like it had been done a ton prior to him getting here. And then obviously he goes on the run 15 through 20. That is basically, as he said, it's the greatest 5-year stretch of anybody has ever had in college football. Played for 4 national championships, won 2 of them. So won 8 of the last 10 ACC championships. So, there's a lot there to talk about, a lot to be proud of. But again, that's not what people want to hear. People don't want to hear you're 1 or 2 plays away. People don't want to hear about what's been in the past. People want to hear about now. They want results now. And that's the life we live in.
Don, you taught me a long time ago, man. Sometimes distance is a good thing, to get to look at something from a distance. I'd come into some of these Syracuse Clemson chats and I'd be down in the mouth and you'd be like, what do you mean? You got a football game to play. I mean, it hasn't been played yet. You haven't lost yet, for crying out loud. Right. Wait till the game's played before you think that you're already lost. You can't enter a game in that mentality. And I think from afar, I have a tremendous amount of respect for what Dabo Swinney has done down there in Clemson. I think, especially in today's ACC world with what we're dealing with in the SEC and all the power there, the power that has shifted to the Big Ten. I mean, come on. I think he's done an unbelievable job. And if he has a few hiccups along the way, I'm perfectly fine with it. I know maybe some Clemson fans aren't, but I think they're nuts.
Yeah, well, Clemson fan. I mean, there's that, and it's that contingent. It's not a big contingent that out there that's upset, but it's generally the ones that had the biggest and loudest voice. I mean, that's what. Let's be really honest. That's what sports talk shows. That's what news talk shows. That's what radio is about. It's really not about the 85%. It's about the 15%. Either way, either positive or negative. So you just have to understand all of that. And I think he has great perspective on that. He doesn't listen to a lot of outside noise, but when outside noise does start creeping in, then he gets very protective of the program. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I mean, it's his family. This is his family. Believe me, if somebody came along and started doing that kind of stuff to my family, then yeah, I'm going to get very protective of that. Would I deserve some of the blame? Yeah, but I understand that. So why are you sitting there yelling and screaming at me that I don't understand that when he does understand? And nobody understands it better than William Christopher Swinney.
Don, let me ask you, were you surprised, and we might have even asked you this on the radio, but were you surprised that, the call of mama, mama come calling home, the Alabama job, all the success that Dabo had already had at Clemson, that he didn't just say, all right, well, thanks everybody for all the times. I'm coming home to that golden opportunity when Saban hung up the cleats. Are you surprised, hung up the whistle rather? Are you surprised that he did not go to Alabama for that gig?
No, I'm not surprised at all. Again, because of what he has built here. This is home for him now. His kids have come through the program. He's got 2 of his boys that are married. They're both working for him. Obviously, his youngest boy is still on the squad as a backup wide receiver, mainly as a holder for special teams kicks and things like that. But I think the roots here are really, really deep. But that's not to say that he's never not going to leave. I mean, I could see a situation where he would leave. But right now, no. But that's today. You can't. None of us are promised what's going to happen tomorrow. If we know what was going to happen tomorrow, then we would, then we'd all be millionaires because we would know what's going to happen tomorrow. But that's just not the case.
We're inside enemy territory. We're talking with Don Munson. Today's broadcast brought to you by our friends at Play It Again Sports. Let's just take 30 seconds, learn a little bit more about our friends at Play It Again.
Warm weather sports season is here, and if you want to gear up and save money on some of the top brands of golf, soccer, and baseball equipment, and much more, Play It Again Sports can be your solution. With both new and gently used gear, Play It Again has prices way less than regular retail stores. And for all you golfers out there, get some quick money for those clubs you've got stashed away and are collecting dust. Play It Again is always looking for quality gear. No appointment necessary. Just bring it into the store. Play It Again Sports in the DeWitt Town Center on Erie Boulevard. Don't spend more. Play it again. Play It Again Sports. Syracuse.com.
All right, we're inside enemy territory at MC Show Digital. Don't forget, hit the thumbs up, like our video, subscribe to our channel at MC Show Video. Don Munson is our guest, play-by-play voice of Clemson. And Don, let's talk about some of these Clemson players. Coach Fran Brown of Syracuse has been pretty complimentary about dare I say, some of the big guys up front, likes that defensive line. Dropped a little expletive earlier in the week, apparently. Let's talk about some of these big dogs. Here's one here I'm going to throw up on the screen. How about DeMonte Capehart? This guy is a big bruiser, number 19.
Yeah, I will. I won't use the 4-letter language that Coach Brown used. This is a family show, and we'll try to keep it that way. No, Capehart's been really, really good for Clemson, and you could sense this coming. He was the guy that was having to play behind some guys that are right now in the NFL, and I think that's been one of the key things with the way that Coach Sweeney has gone about doing things, is that he always says this is a developmental program. Well, that guy right there, number 19. Is about as much of a poster child as you can have for Clemson football defensively, because he's paid his dues, he's been very patient, and now he's on the precipice of living out a childhood dream and playing on the next level. But thank goodness we got him here for a while. He's a guy that is a run stopper, big body inside. He can give you pressure up the middle right into a quarterback's face. Has a really good motor, and a guy that probably this coming week, all right, say on Saturday that Syracuse runs 85 plays. It wouldn't shock me to see Capehart be on the field for 50 of those. Even though there's a really good rotation up front at defensive tackle, they're about 5 or 6 deep there. But Capehart's going to get a majority of those snaps for sure.
Yeah, here's another big guy that lines up right next to him, big number 11, Peter Woods. What can you tell us about him?
Yeah, certainly Peter coming into the season was projected as maybe being a top 10 pick in the coming NFL draft next April. I think he played pretty well in the first 2 games. He's a defensive tackle, so a lot of times you just don't notice these guys. He's a guy that generally always draws a double team. He would probably tell you he didn't have his best game last week in Atlanta against Georgia Tech, which I think makes him even more dangerous, to be perfectly honest with you, coming into this one against Syracuse, because he's the kind of guy who likes to put on film his best. And Peter is definitely a guy that draws a lot of attention of offensive coordinators to find out where he is on the field and how about going to attack him. Really, really, really good player in Peter Woods.
All right, let's go to a straw that stirs the drink on the offensive side of the football. Sometimes you see these large gaps in stats between guy number 1 on the depth chart and the next guy. And when you look at wide receivers, Bryant Wesco Jr., 18 catches, 310 yards, and 3 touchdowns. He's the only Clemson pass catcher or running back, for that matter, or anyone in the receiving game that has over 100 yards receiving, and he has 300. It sounds like he's a main squeeze of everything you guys do on offense.
Yeah, particularly with the injury to Antonio Williams. So, the question coming into the Syracuse is, does Antonio Williams come back for this? He had a hamstring injury that's forced him out. He played, 3 or 4 plays, I think, in the opener against LSU, and then that was it. He was shut down. So without Antonio, then Wesco becomes kind of the alpha male that is out there from a wide receiver standpoint. And he obviously coming off a really good freshman campaign. Had just a tremendous spring and summer. He's put it on some mass. He's maybe even gained a little bit of speed. He's a really good route runner, but as we saw last week, even he came up a little empty. He dropped a really important 3rd down pass that could have kept a drive alive for Clemson, and it didn't. That was late in the game where Clemson had a 1-point lead, and it seemed like things were clicking offensively. And it would have been a 1st down, I think, at the Georgia Tech 43, 44-yard line, something along those lines. So had he made that play, and it was there. It was a ball 100% of the time should have been caught. Just took his eyes off of it, turned his head, trying to see where the defender was, or trying to already get going upfield, something along those lines. So still a young kid that's growing, but very, very dangerous. Obviously, he took 73 yards last week. 50 of that was him, because it was just a little slant pattern that was over the middle. He got to the right sideline and turned on the Jets.
Well, us Syracusans, Don, we're looking for cracks in this armor here. So let's, are there some? I mean, at 1 and 2, obviously there have been some things that Clemson hasn't done well. So where can Syracuse attack them? Where are they vulnerable?
Well, one of the things that I would tell you is that, defensively, Clemson hasn't gotten people off the field. And so, all right, is Syracuse going to come in here and really ramp things up with tempo? That's the thing that I want to see if they're going to do. We have seen that, I think, so far this season, time to time from Syracuse, but we haven't seen it complete. I don't think that we've seen Fran Brown go really complete after, maybe a little bit against Tennessee. I guess you could say that. I thought that Syracuse had an opportunity in that first half against Tennessee, and you all may remember this. They were kind of moving the football, and right at midfield, they stalled in a drive, and I think they were up. I want to say Syracuse was up in that and the drive stalled, and they either turned it over on downs or they had to punt it. That, to me, became a really, really critical possession for Syracuse, because if that drive stays alive and if they go and get points, then who knows what happens? Who knows what happened? But they didn't, and it ended up costing them. And Tennessee got on a roll. They got that stadium amped up and going, and there was little that Syracuse could do to really stop that momentum. So kind of the same thing faces them here at Clemson, because you're going to come into this place. It's going to be loud. It's going to be packed. People are, they're going to be watching the Emperor. They're going to be, thumbs down. They're wanting the Emperor to give that thumbs down kind of stuff. They want to see Clemson roll in this. The longer Syracuse stays in this game on Saturday, the better the chance they have to win it. And the quickest way they can do that is come out and try to punch Clemson right in the mouth early on and see what happens from there.
Don, that's what I was going to ask you next. This Death Valley. I used to live down there, a rock throw down there in South Carolina for a large part of my life was spent in South Carolina. So I got to see it all the time. Describe it. What is Death Valley? What is Syracuse entering? What's the special sauce that makes this one of the, if not the premier college football venues on the planet?
Well, it's an electric place to watch a football game. I think it can be intimidating for an opponent coming. This is, Fran Brown being at Georgia, he knows a little bit about these settings. All right, that SEC experience, I think. So from a coaching standpoint, I think that he'll be good enough to try to handle that from that standpoint. The question is what happens? You can coach all you want, but you got to have the players that can buy into the mentality of playing in these situations. Some players feast off of it. Other players don't. So you need to find those guys that want to come and eat and want to come and get to the table and stay hungry and eat a lot. That's what I think is. It's more of a mentality thing for an opponent coming in, I think, than it is anything else.
Well, last year, Syracuse didn't play Clemson, Don, so we didn't have our, dare I say, usual chat. So let me ask you about Fran Brown, because he has taken over this program, and last year, huge success, 10-3, very unexpected. What he's done on the recruiting trail, kind of the pedigree that he seems to have picked up working, as you mentioned, in that Georgia program, which is where he came directly from before he came to Syracuse. What's the take down in South Carolina on Fran Brown's job, and Fran Brown's future?
Well, certainly around Clemson, everybody loves Fran Brown because of what y'all did to Miami last year to get Clemson to an ACC championship game that therefore got us to the playoffs. So he's people are rooting for Fran Brown, except for when they come in here to Clemson. I can tell you that for sure. I think there's a lot of respect for what he did in year one. I've said this before to you all, and I'll say it again. Syracuse is not an easy job. It's not. It's just not, particularly in today's day and age of college athletics, with the money that's being spent, all that kind of stuff. It's not an easy job. And I think that Fran realized that when he took the job, to be perfectly honest with you. It's a chance for him to build something. And he has an opportunity, I think, there in the Northeast, if he can do this, to really become the football school in that Northeast corridor of the United States. Dude, if you can do that, if you can be the power that's above the state of Pennsylvania and do that, you can live a long and happy life up there. You can live a long and happy life. And I think it's important for the league, for Syracuse to be good, for Syracuse to consistently be at that 10-game level where they can win 10 games every year. That's what this league's been missing. Let's be honest. That's what the league's been missing. Clemson's been carrying this torch. We've expected others to come along. There's been a little blip on the radar by various programs. They blip, they show, and then they fall off and can't consistently do it. Man, if Syracuse can grab that and do that with the audience that therefore they could control in the Northeast with eyes, press, all that kind of stuff, man, that would benefit the ACC in an immense way.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys are ready to give up the torch, we're ready to take it down.
No, we ain't giving up the torch.
Not giving up the torch.
Because I'm telling you, Clemson's going to be there. Clemson ain't going anywhere. Clemson's not going away. We're not going away. But you understand what I'm saying? I mean, it's like, yes. I'm not going to call out programs, but I'll call out programs. Florida State, Miami have to be better. Yep. They have to be better. North Carolina has to be better.
Yeah.
They've got to. Even though North Carolina really has not had that storied football tradition, it's been over the basketball side. I think it's kind of like the same thing with Syracuse. Yep. Yes, Jim Brown played there. I get it. All that. I understand. I get it. You look at the names that are up there hanging from the rafters. There are big-time names that are hanging from those rafters. But they haven't done it since, Donovan McNabb did it to us in '95 in the Gator Bowl. Goodness gracious. I was there for that.
I was there for that game too. Yeah.
But, you haven't done it here since the turn. Since we got to 2000, and we need that. The league desperately needs that. Fran Brown, I think, is the kind of guy that can do that. He has a personality. He has the recruiting that's in him, and I think that he also just has this way of hopefully, what I see from the outside at least, of building a program the way that he wants to do it, that he can be a tremendous success there.
So, Don, how do you view this game? Because Vegas views it in a certain way, and we've had these kinds of conversations with you. The Vegas line has Clemson as a 17.5-point favorite against the Orange in this contest coming up this weekend. So, what should we expect, Don Munson?
Well, personally, I think that line's a little big, to be honest with you. I don't know that Clemson has played to the point where they deserve to be a 17-point favorite, but that's why they build big hotels in the desert.
That's what I've been told.
All right.
Yeah.
That's exactly why they do. Yeah. Why they do that. So, it's funny because people ask me all the time about lines. They ask me about feelings going into games, and my answer will always be the same. I don't know. Can you tell me what's going to happen? Can you tell me who's going to come up with injury in the first quarter? Who's going to be back on the field for Clemson? Are they getting some injured players back? I mean, I'll get a better sense of that going through practice and as we get to the game on Saturday. But none of us know what's going to happen. I mean, none of us know what's going to happen. Go and win by a point. I'll take that right now. If you just give me, hey, you know what? 21-20 is just as good as 42-41. Doesn't matter. It's just as good as 3-2. I don't care. As long as Clemson can advance with a W, that's all I should care about.
All right. Before we go, I'll offer two things here, Don. I'll offer a thank you and an apology. All right. So here's the thank you first. The thank you is thank you very kindly. When I retired a couple of months ago from radio, you were nice enough to send in a video and congratulate me and throw some rose petals at my feet. So thank you for that. That was very nice. And a lot of other people across the country checked in as well. So I'm very humbled by that. I apologize because I'm not going anywhere. Just like Dabo, man. I still got plenty left in the tank. We'll see you here on future podcasts. It's great to be looking at you in the flesh while we talk to you. It's always such a great pleasure to kind of cut bread with you, and enjoy a little bit of Clemson sports. So always a pleasure to talk to you, Don. Thanks for coming on with us.
Well, Manchild and Boy Green, we'll be coming there either the 30th or the 31st for basketball into December, right?
December.
That's during the holidays. Have no idea where you boys are going to be.
Yeah.
But I said this last time, never heard from you. I'm coming to Syracuse.
I know.
That's true. We got to go out to dinner. Let's go.
Time, okay.
We have to.
All right.
Yes.
We'll do it. If we're home during that, we'll definitely do it. I promise you that. If we're home. I do typically go out of town for the holidays, but I don't know if I'll be out. But, usually before New Year's, I'm back. So I think that actually will be okay.
We'll do it.
You home?
Yeah, I'm home.
Okay. I already know, looking at the two of you, it's up to me. Because you all ain't getting the job done. It's up to me.
That's a good point. So looking forward to that text coming up.
Reservation at Delmonico's. Deals on you, though. It's your town.
All right.
You pay. Yeah, you come here, I'll pay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. You're here, we'll pay. That's 100%. 100%. We're rolling in the bucks here in the podcasting world, Don. I don't know.
That's true.
Oh, no.
A whole new world up here.
Podcasting is where it's out. That's where all the money is. I mean, just ask all the boys and girls. That's where all the money is right now.
What it really has been fabulous, in all honesty, because we've only been doing this 10 weeks now, is just the rapid rate of growth and how we are reaching people not only in the central New York area talking about Syracuse, but regionally and even to a certain extent nationally. It's really very humbling. It's a lot of fun. I know Paul has his own podcast channel that he's been doing for almost 5 years. He has a guy in Austria that is a regular on his show and contributes to his show. And so you can reach the world, and not even just the United States. You literally can reach the world. It's a pretty cool place to be. And having the addition of the visuals and people being able to see us and see us interact this way is also a lot of fun. I always enjoyed radio, and I always enjoyed most when our radio guests came into the studio and we had this kind of personal conversation where we were looking at each other, and this kind of provides some of that. So I'm really, really enjoying it. And, I don't see us going anywhere. So we will hopefully see you in December, and we will certainly see you beyond that. Does that mean I get an invite to come to studio then when I'm there in Syracuse? Yeah, if you want to go to either Paul's or my house, because that's where we are now. We're literally in our own homes now. Manchild, are you both married? I am married. Paul has the situation there. Don, don't you know that situation? You're ready. Go ahead, check him out, Don. The microphone's yours. Jim, look at him. The chances of his DNA surviving after him, not very high, brother. Not very high. I'm just telling you. You may be taken out of the gene pool there, Boy Green.
That could happen.
Job done, Boy Green. He can't.
Yeah. What are we waiting for? I know. I don't know what's going on. I got
the finger on, family members in the fold, and what is he doing? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I can't help him. I try.
All right, boys. Hey, all right. Let me just say that. Really appreciate you both. We've never met, okay? Other than me being on radio with you, doing a podcast here, we've never met. But I can tell you, you're my kind of people, all right? You're my kind of people. Love doing this kind of stuff with you. Hopefully I am your kind of guy as well. Yes. So I do look forward to it. One time we have to meet face to face, and we need to sit down and break bread together, maybe have an adult beverage or two, and
that'll be great.
And get back and just relax.
That'll be great. Yep. You're our kind of people too. Don Munson, always love you.
Boys.
Legend, the myth. He's not even a myth. He's just a legend.
Wait, and let's make sure Don gets he always signs off every interview the same way. And I imagine that still translates in the video world. So Don, please.
All right, one last thing. First of all, for your sponsor, Play It Again Sports, all right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
All right, I'm a golfer. Ooh. Folks, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you, Play It Again Sports is your spot to go find your new driver. You want to know why? Because I've done research on this, and there's plenty of research that out in the last 15 years. All right, so here we are in 2025. If you can go back, find a TaylorMade driver, Callaway driver, 2010 to 2012. Do you know that driver is on average only about 5 to 7 yards shorter than today's high-tech equipment? That's the difference. Just 5 to 7 yards. Go find the deal at Play It Again Sports. Highly recommend the Rocket Balls TaylorMade driver. All right. One of the hottest faces that was ever invented to play golf. It's the driver that I still play with today. I used to play to a +2 handicap. I know what I'm talking about. All right. Played in high school, played a little bit in college, know exactly what I'm talking about. But I'm telling you, Play It Again Sports is the place to go find golf equipment. But in particular, go find your new driver there. You will save hundreds of dollars at Play It Again Sports. So that's right. Yes. You didn't expect that now, did you, boys? Did you?
I did not.
Wow. You're going to love it. And it just ties right into what I'm about to say, which is Play It Again, who I just saw last week. I was talking to the owner of the local store, gave me this brand new Cleveland driver. Okay.
That's it.
It's the Highbore, Cleveland Highbore XL. It's a Highbore launcher. It's got the adjustable. It's worth now retail around $400. This one isn't used. He sells, as you know, a lot of used equipment. You bring your pre-owned, gently used.
Play it again.
Produced prices. That's kind of their motto. But they do have new stuff in the store as well. And he wouldn't let me walk out of there the other day without giving this to me. And we're going to give it away to a new subscriber. So Don, if you want a new driver, just get in there and click subscribe, baby. Like
I'm subscribing when when I hang up.
It's a lottery. We're going to give it away in a couple of weeks. We're just trying to bounce up our subscribers. We've only been here 10 weeks. We're moving on up, as they say. So we'll set another threshold, and then that driver goes out the door. We're about to hand off this David Tyree autographed, sitting on my wall, the catch photo framed. It's mine personally. We had it hanging in our studio for years, and someone is about to get it because we just reached our first threshold to start giving away stuff. So we're giving away stuff here on the internet. It's crazy.
I love it. All right, so I've done that. Now, here you go.
Yes.
Appreciate it. Let me spread a little gospel to the Clemson Tigers. As always, go Tigers.
There we go.
I'm not saying anything else.